This is Off the Court with OG, presented by Zenni Blocks. If you've been here before, then welcome back to another episode. But if you're new to the series and to the show, this is the podcast that grants you access to the head of the crew, OG King CURT, GM and head coach of the Nets gaming crew, the Brooklyn Nets affiliate of the NBA 2K League. We're excited to get into it, but first, a quick shout out to our friends over at Zenni Blocks. Zenni has kept the entire team looking great throughout season 5, and since each and every one of you are part of the crew, it's only right that you look the part as well. The frames are fire. The lenses block out the blue light, so grab your own pair today by visiting zenni.com/netsgc. Now, CURT, let's get episode 30 underway. By the time this show drops on social media, we'll have started already 3v3 seed weeks, but it's only right we use this show to discuss what happened during 5v5 seed weeks. Unfortunately, CURT, the team didn't outright qualify for the playoffs. We'll talk about the ticket a little bit later, but first walk us through this past week, specifically like the up and down ride that you guys went through. Things looked so promising after that win against the Tigers, but what went wrong after that? And what were some of the conversations you were having with the guys behind closed doors?
Yeah, as you mentioned, definitely we got off to the right foot against Gen G and was able to get a win. And we thought that would give us the momentum that we needed going into, the Celtics crossover game and the 76ers GC game. Unfortunately, our Achilles heel, just bad offense, too many turnovers. Couldn't hit a shot against Celtics crossover.
Right.
And that put us in a bad spot, and they were able to get out on a break and create some separation early, force some turnovers, got a lot of points in transition. And that's been always our motto since we've been, steady on defense, is that just give us a chance and make other teams play in the half court. Don't give up a lot of points in transition. And unfortunately, through turnovers and just bad shot selection, they were able to get out in transition and so, like I said, get degree of separation and pretty much gave us one of our worst losses since I've been here, in NetsGC. So kind of wasn't a good feeling, of course. It was a tough one. And then the 76ers GC game, we bounced back. I thought we played really well in the first half, and just had a major meltdown in the second half. Allowed Dre to get make an imprint in the second half. Got to scoring the ball, and 6:30 made some plays, and DT knocked down a pivotal three with 42 seconds left, where we were up, and we let the lead slip away, and then we fought back and cut it to 3. And with 42 seconds left in the game, he knocked down a 3 and put them up 6, and that pretty much was the game. So tough week. Went 1 and 2 the first week of seed week in 5v5. Easily, at worst, should have been 2-1 with wins over 2 of the top teams in the Eastern Conference, but unfortunately, we let it slip away.
Yeah, you got to play a full 4 quarters against the top teams. And speaking of top teams, you guys walked into or ran into, maybe the top team in T-Wolves Gaming. And I kind of really want to hone in on something that was, seen on broadcast. So there's no kind of running away from it. It was very likely the peak of frustration for the guys and yourself during 5v5 seed weeks. There was a moment in the game where, the guys were frustrated and shots, visibly upset, got up out of his chair. And kind of the rest was history that night. Talk to us a little bit about what went on that night, and then more importantly, what we didn't get to see afterwards, just kind of the mood within the team and how you try to get everyone to kind of come together again, because it was a dramatic night.
Yeah, I mean, in sports and in team dynamics. You have situations as such. I mean, Shots is a passionate player, cares about winning, cares about the organization, and I just was frustrated with our overall team play, and especially in the backcourt. It's no secret if you watch the first 4 to 5 minutes of the game.
Mhm.
We kind of didn't give ourselves a chance. We turned the ball over, uh, you know, unforced, as I would say. No blitzes, no anything, just bad reads. And the T Wolves did what they do best. They get out in transition, and they score the ball on the break like no other. Um, it was tough to watch, tough to endure, and then we had a point in the game where we made a run actually in the first half where we got it to 6, and then some more mishaps, and they got the lead back up, and we went into halftime, and neither one of our guards had a bucket. I mean, that's kind of it was reminiscent of the tip off, where Doc and Tate combined for 1 point at one point in time in the game. So we thought as a team that we would never see that again, or didn't hope to see it again, and we actually saw worse. So it was a frustrating moment. Shots actually, a lot of people thought we quit the game, which is nobody quit the game. Shots got mad and frustrated, and he slammed the desk, and his game froze. Everybody else's game was good, but his game froze, and he could no longer play. And that was the scenario. So, just clean that up. And I mean, and just to give an inside track, because I mean, emotions run high. I mean,
Mhm.
it's a lot at stake. It doesn't bother me one bit because I use every moment, no matter whether we win or lose, anytime you get a chance to have a teaching moment or talk about an experience, that's what I do, and that's what we do. And you know, it was no time to really sulk in that loss. I mean, we kind of, I've been saying this all year. We've left a lot of money on the table. I mean, honestly speaking, C Week shouldn't even had to decide our fate for the playoffs.
True.
We should have already been in the playoffs. I mean, if we would have took care of our business early and closed out games, we definitely would have been locked in already. I think the funny thing about that is it kind of gives hope going forward. I mean, and kind of the lead right into, I guess, the Cavs Legion game. But before I talk about that, the T Wolves matchup, gave me a chance to go heads up with Nicholas Gartrell, who was with me at one point in time, and I just want to give him a shout out and give him his roses that he's done a phenomenal job over there with the T Wolves, and they've been rocking and rolling ever since he got over there. I mean, of course, they already have a championship under their belt, but I think he's did a great job at maintaining what they want to do over there, and they definitely look like they're on the right track to do what most and every team wants to do or have an opportunity to do in this league is win a championship. So just big hats off to Nicholas Gartrell. He's got my vote for Coach of the Year. So let's see how that plays out.
Yeah, definitely an early favorite. And you kind of teed it up here for me, but from one branch of your coaching tree to another branch on your coaching tree with Joel Lazu on Cavs Legion GC. Now, mind you, that's not the only storyline that we had headed into this game. We also had the homecoming for Doc, the return of, the sophomore sniper. But headed into the game, you guys end up making a lineup tweak with King Hod moving to the off-ball position and Jaden moving to the 1. So, what I want to know is, when did this decision happen, and how did that conversation come about, and how did it play out?
I mean, actually, of course, I was heated after the T Wolves game, just how we played, how we finished the game, and everything that took place. It was just a big snowball effect. And I was already thinking in my mind that I was not going to watch our backcourt suffer the way I had to, and the way we had to, and our fans and everybody else had to watch during the T Wolves game. So I was already thinking about making a change just to see how it looked. We actually had done that in practice a few times, but it was something that we wasn't living on, because we realistically had moments in most of our games, aside from the couple of blowout losses that we had, is that we've had chances to win games with the lineup that we've been running. So I'm have been confident in it throughout, but seeing these last 2 weeks and suffering some of the losses that we've suffered and going into that game, it was kind of evident that we were already going to be stuck in the seventh, the seventh seed. So I was kind of already saying that I was thinking about it. But Jaden, he reached out to me after the game and suggested it, and then Hyde kind of backed it up. And I think overall, I kind of like the ball in Jaden's hands a lot, as much as possible. And of course, with him playing point guard, he gets a chance to do that. And I think the rule is still the same for us: minimize the turnovers and take and make shots and be ready to take shots. So that no matter who's at the one or who's at the two, that's really going to be our motto in the half court, especially, is just take care of the ball, be ready to take shots and make shots at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, for myself, I think really there's two things that really all that matters, and it's in the following order. One is that you guys get the win no matter how you get it, and you guys accomplish that. And two, in terms of individual perspective, you want the players to look good headed into the offseason. And in terms of putting Jaden at the one and King Hot at the two, it resulted in both players having their best offensive performance in a NetsGC uniform. So, and again, you guys came out with the W. So really, that's all that matters. Now, I want to save most of our discussion for the ticket for an like a later episode, but I think we can give it one small, tiny sneak peek here, just because it's also worth it. How fun is it, Kurt, that we all get to take part in NetsGC versus Hornets Venom GT a third time with the season on the line?
Hey, I mean, I guess that's just how the cookie crumbles. I mean, a difference a year makes as well. 2 years in a row, both of us have been in the playoffs and found a way to match up against each other. And then this year, we failed to clinch in the regular season and have to fight for our lives in the ticket. And here we are. So I always say, no matter what, I mean, of course you want to take care of your business in the regular season, qualify 1 through 5, and solidify your spot. But really, at the end of the day, you have to be ready to beat any and everybody. So with that being said, the Hornets is another team that we have to play and defeat. But the goal is going to be to get through them and get a couple more games throughout the ticket and qualify for that 6th spot.
Yes, as dramatic as this storyline is, Hornets Venom GT is just one piece of that puzzle in terms of what it's going to take for Brooklyn to qualify for the postseason. Final question before we sign off. And of course, before we can even really get truly and genuinely excited about the ticket, there is still unfinished business with 3v3. Brooklyn just 1 point out of a playoff spot. What can we expect from the guys headed into these final stretch of 3v3 games?
I think you getting a different group. I mean, we're coming off a situation where we actually qualified in the last tournament in the switch, and we have some confidence from that. I mean, we went not qualifying in the first tournament and qualifying in the second tournament, winning more in group play and things of that nature. So we got some momentum going into this, and I think we got a good shot. I mean, I think we learned from the loss that we had, learned a lot from the win that we had too, but I think we have more of a sense of how we want to go about 3v3, a little bit more trust on the defensive end in our strategy and depending on who we're playing. But I think overall, I mean, it's me and Jaden talked about it. I mean, he knows he has to take care of the ball, score the ball, and trust the two of the best defensive guys behind him, and just listen to them and do what they say or attempt to do what they say. And I think we'll be in good shape.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. It should be an exciting stretch of 3v3 games. We're already in the home stretch. The season has gone in a blink of an eye. This episode finally wrapping up. Curt, before we wrap things up officially, any final thoughts from you?
No, I just say, I say no, and then I keep talking. But I just want to thank everybody who's been tuning in to Off the Court with OG. I mean, look at us, Kristian. It's episode 30.
Yeah.
I mean, who would have thought? Just stay locked in and in tune with NetsGC. I think we're gonna make a strong push during this C week for 3v3, and definitely be on the lookout for us in the ticket. I think we have, for good reason, a really good feeling that we can make a push and get out of the ticket and possibly make some noise in the playoffs.
You gotta love stage play too. So
exactly,
very, very pumped for that. The entire league finally coming together in one spot with everything on the line. Remember, everyone, follow Nets Gaming Crew on all social platforms. And if you enjoyed what you heard in this episode, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're told it goes a very long way. A quick shout out to Zenni for making us look good, and everyone on the NetsGC staff for making Curt and I look even better. On behalf of Curt, I am Kristian Cuaresma, and this was episode 30 of Off the Court with OG.